This is Jarrod Horak, and I'm back with my second Kentucky Derby points race video this week. I did the Los Al Futurity in my first video. In this video, I'm going to do the Springboard Mile from Remington Park. I'm going to cover all these points races on the road to the Derby and some of the upcoming races I'm going to cover in this series on my YouTube channel. The Gun Runner Stakes at Fairgrounds on December 26th. I'm going to do the Smarty Jones Stakes from Oaklawn Park on January 1st. From Aqueduct, the Jerome Stakes on January 7th, and from Santa Anita Park, the Sham Stakes on January 8th. I'll cover all those videos on my YouTube channel, along with the Road to the Kentucky Oaks video series that I also do, and I'm 8 races into that series, and my top choices have won 4 out of 8. In the last 3 Oaks points races, my top choices got the job done. I've given out some exactas and trifectas as well. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel for all of my Oaks and Derby videos. Now in this video, we're going to do the Springboard Mile, and we'll talk about some of the recent winners. And beginning in 2014, Bayard for trainer Steve Asmussen, and then Asmussen also had the winner of this race in 2018 and 19. In 2018, it was Long Range Toddy. In 2019, it was Shoplifted. And Asmussen does have some horses that are contenders in this year's Springboard Mile. Another trainer that has a runner this year in the Springboard Mile that has had success in the past, trainer Todd Fincher in 2020. He saddled Senor Buscador to victory in this race. Luis Quinones was the rider. Last year it was Make It Big for trainer Safi Joseph Jr. and Jose Ortiz rode that one. So those are some of the recent winners with the winning connections as well. And now this year's Springboard Mile, it's going to be a night race. It will be run at 11:19 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, December 17th, 2022. It's going to be the 12th race from Remington Park. $400,000 race, 2-year-olds, and they're going to be traveling 1 mile on the rain track. And in this Springboard Mile, number 1 is Echo again for trainer Steve Asmussen. This one's a son of Gun Runner. Tappet is the dam sire. Excellent pedigree here. What looked really good in his debut. That was 6.5 furlongs at Saratoga this summer. He was able to get out there, open up early, get a nice clear early lead, and he just coasted home to win by almost 7 lengths. He was the heavy favorite in the first Derby points race this year. That was the Iroquois Stakes at Churchill Downs at 1 mile and a 16th on September 17th. And in that race, it was a 9-horse field, and he had the outside post, and he was hung out wide. He was stalking wide. He made a bid to the lead and made an early move. The pace was above par, could not keep pace, and he ended up finishing 7th, beating 14 lengths. So now they're going to give him another shot in a Derby points race. Based on that debut run and his pedigree, connections, there's a lot to think reasons to think that he could bounce back. Ricardo Santana Jr. rode him in his debut. Joel Rosario rode a second time out. So now he's reuniting with Santana Jr. here. He's got the inside post. He's got some speed, and he could be dangerous. We just don't really know how good he is. We know he was very good in his sprint debut, but then he didn't run well around 2 turns second time out. So now we'll see if he can bounce back in this spot. I'm not sure I really would like to take 9 to 5 to see if he can bounce back, but he is a contender in here. Gunflash is number 2 for trainer Carl Broberg. This one's another son of Gun Runner. This one is 15 to 1 morning line, and he ran well on his debut. It was at Remington Park. It was at 6 furlongs on November 22nd, and he had post 8 in an 8-horse field. He sat back wide. He made a move from off the pace, and he won by a half length. He earned an okay speed rating, not fast enough, most likely to compete with some of these, but he still has plenty of upside in only his 2nd career start, and we'll see how he can do against better company. Number 3 is Campfire Creed. Now this one hasn't really done anything wrong. He's a son of Jimmy Creed, and he's run 4 times, and he's finished 1st twice and 2nd twice. Missed by a neck in his career debut, post 11 at Lone Star that day, and then in his 2nd career start at Remington Park at 5 furlongs, he got out there, dueled on the lead, shook off early pressure, pulled clear, and won by 5. Kip DeVille Stakes in his 3rd start, and his 1st start against winners, he was 7 to 1. He stalked the pace, and he won nicely, a professional effort by 1 3/4 lengths. And then in his last start, the clever Trevor Stakes, he was up on the pace early, and then he dropped back, and then he came again, and he missed by a nose. He was out in post 10 in that 12-horse field, and that was in the slop as well. So now we know he can handle a wet track. We know he's a decent sprinter, and he's versatile. He was able to rally in the debut. He went wire to wire 2nd time out. He stalked and scored in his third start, and then he had a bit of an adventurous trip last time. He was up close, dropped back, came again. So he can kind of do anything. We just don't know if he can go 2 turns against better company. And number 4, Little Sweet Thang. This went for trainer Donnie Von Hemmel, and he's 2 for 3 lifetime, won his career debut easily, battling on the pace at 6 furlongs. Second time out, it was the slop, the Clever Trevor Stakes. He didn't run particularly well. He wasn't embarrassed. He finished 4th, beaten 9 lengths in a 12-horse field. But in the debut, he was able to get out there and set the pace. And then in that last race, he was 10th early before finishing 4th. And then in his last start, it was an allowance race, non-winners 2 lifetime at 1 mile at Remington Park. He stalked. He scored by a length. Decent enough effort. It was a local prep race for this. And now he's going to face better company. His speed figures are improving, but he's going to have to run even better here to compete with these. Giant Mischief for trainer Brad Cox. This one is an Into Mischief colt. They paid $475,000 for this one, and he's one that he's certainly done nothing wrong. In his career debut, Indiana, 5.5 furlongs, and in that race, it was a 7-horse field. He sat back in 6th, and he rallied nicely, and he won by a length and a half. And then last time out, he was 6-1, and that race was 7 furlongs at Keeneland on November 4th, Breeders' Cup undercard. And in that race, Arabian Lion for trainer Bob Baffert, highly regarded horse. I mentioned him in my Los Al Futurity video. And Arabian Lion is one that looks like he could be a decent one for Baffert. He was the heavy favorite there in that last race, but Giant Mischief got the better of him. From the inside post, he was able to save ground, stalking the pace, and he was able to defeat Arabian Lion by 3/4 of a length. And it was more than 17 lengths back to the show finisher. So Giant Mischief and Arabian Lion both ran giant races that day, but Giant Mischief was better, and he earned a strong speed rating. So now he's going to stretch out after 2 sprints, and he'll probably end up stalking the pace around 2 turns here. American Outlaw is the 6th, and he's 15-1 morning line for trainer Todd Fincher. American Pharaoh colt here, and he won his debut easily, 5 furlongs at Remington. He stalked. He won easily, he drew off, and the runner-up was the next out winner. And then in his last start, he got out there and he set the pace, but he couldn't keep going. He finished 2nd, beaten a length, but it was 8 lengths clear of the rest there. So he was well clear of the rest, and now they're taking blinkers off, and he's going to go over a route of ground for the 2nd time. And Fincher is very good with the blinkers off move. So I think that he's one that can certainly impact the pace, and with the blinkers off, maybe they're trying to get him to relax a little bit. A Ghost Hero at 15-1 morning line is one that will probably impact the pace. He's run 4 times at Remington Park. From post 11 in his debut, he broke 12th and last, and he ended up finishing 4th there. And then 2nd time out, he was 2nd. And this one's an Oklahoma bred. So all of his races have been against Oklahoma bred company. And he was 2nd in his 2nd start. And then an Oklahoma bred stakes race, he broke his maiden on October 21st at 6 furlongs. They stretched him out in distance. Another Oklahoma bred stakes race at 1 mile on a good track last time out on November 11th. He set the pace. He just lasted by a head. Much better company here. He will probably impact the pace, but he's going to have to run better. His speed figures are slowly advancing, but he's going to have to run much faster here to compete with these. Money Run at 12-1 morning line for trainer Steve Asmussen. This is a run-happy colt here. And he was nowhere in his 5.5 furlong turf debut. That was at Ellis Park. 2nd time out, they dropped him to a maiden claiming $75,000, and they moved him to the main track at Churchill Downs. He stalked and he scored easily. But then the Clever Trevor Stakes, he was 5th, beaten 10 lengths in that 12-horse field. He's meeting some of those rivals again. And then in that allowance race last time out, some other runners from this race were in that race as well. He was 3rd, beaten 9 lengths. He was a clear 3rd, but he was no match for the top 2. So he's really going to have to step up his game in here to compete with these. His speed ratings are a bit low. Wildatlanticstorm at 6-1 morning line rounds out the field, and he's run well in all 5 starts, 3 wins in 2 seconds. He was 2nd in his debut, 4 furlong turf race at Lone Star. And then 2nd time out, he graduated in a dirt sprint against Iowa bred company at Prairie Meadows. Then his last 3 starts at Remington Park. He won an optional claiming sprint by 5 lengths. He was 2nd in the Kip DeVille, and he won the Clever Trevor by a nose. So now he's going to stretch out in distance, and he's going to impact the pace from the outside post. So I think the pace could be fairly honest in here. And I think that the favorite is one of the horses breaking from the inside post that can impact that pace. I'm going to go with Giant Mischief. He's one that I think has a decent shot in this race. He defeated a very good, promising horse in Arabian Lion last time. And Arabian Lion was my top choice in the Los Al Futurity, that video that I covered. And Giant Mischief defeated him last time. He earned a nice speed rating. He's 2 for 2. He can pass horses. I like that. And I like that 2 sprint races to a route angle. And Brad Cox is very good first route. So I think that Giant Mischief is just going to sit that right trip behind possibly contested fractions, and he can get the job done in here. Some other horses to consider in here underneath him, certainly Echo again. He's one for trainer Steve Asmussen that I think can run well and bounce back, but I just don't want to play him at that 9-to-5 price as he tries these 2 turns for the second time and possibly getting involved in a bit of a pace battle. From that inside post, I think they're going to want to try to go. Maybe they'll try to run them off their feet, but there are some other horses with speed in here. Wouldn't be surprised if Echo again ran well, but I'm not sure that I really trust him in this spot. Some other horses you can use, the 3 Campfire Creed will be one that I think can at least come in somewhere. And then Little Sweet Thing will round out my top 4. This one possibly can hit the board. He's shown nice running style versatility in his 3 races. So I will definitely make a win wager in this race on Giant Mischief, especially if I can get near that 3-to-1. But I think he's probably going to take some money. I'm not sure that that morning line is going to quite hold. I think Giant Mischief, I wouldn't even be shocked if he was the favorite. But if that 3-to-1, 5-to-2 would be a nice price on him. So Giant Mischief is my top choice in the Remington Springboard Mile. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content. And that will wrap up this video. And I'll be back, as I said, I'll be coming up and doing these Road to the Derby and Oaks video series. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel. You're going to find those each time that they run. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.